Well, hello, co-creators. I am D. Leonard Hughes, known as, hold on, y'all. I am D. Leonard Hughes, known as around the world as the mind hacker. We're so excited today. It's Friday in June. I forgot the date. But anyway, it's good to be here. We're glad to see you. We have a very great coaching event on today. I want you to call some friends. Dealing at Hughes here. I want you to call some people and call some friends. Let them know that there is a show tonight that can help you understand what's going on in your head. Okay, we're so grateful. And then at the end, we're going to do a few looks at to give you a better understanding of what's going on in the political world. I'm just going to share, and you use your own opinion to help you understand what's going on in the world of politics, which we all supposed to be knowing and involved because we are kingdom people. Okay, so we're so excited. We're so excited about the show. And let's begin to unwrap what we're going to talk about. As you see the title, Inner Critic, the bully in your head. The inner critic is the bully in your head. Okay. Somebody is saying, what is the inner critic? Where did the inner critic start? Well, I mean, but you know it's there because those that's on tonight, you fully understand. Hold on, you fully understand. I need to make sure something here. Okay, to make sure it's okay. So we give it a few minutes. So we're happy. We're excited about what's happening and what's going on. And I want to talk to you about the inner critic, the bully versus the bullet. The bully. I keep want to say bully in your head. Now you're wondering, how did the inner critic originate? It develops in childhood as we hear harsh remarks and criticism from parents, caretakers, teachers, and from our peers. So it starts from childhood. That's why it's very, very, very important that you're careful of who and what words that you put into the minds of your children that you are responsible for. You also have to be careful. You also have to be careful of what they watch on TV, what they watch on the devices that they have, because everything that is said, words are life, or words are death, words are spirit. And so even after you say it, even the vibration of the words keep going. And it can emotionally hurt people. It can emotionally down the road damage people. So the only thing we're doing is we're talking and sharing from our childhood experience. I often say, when you meet people, you don't meet them, that body, that flesh. You meet all of their experiences, their beliefs, their education, because I did today. You can be educated and still not develop. I want to say this again. Hello, mother. That's the Lord's Maker, my mama. You can be educated, but not develop. There's a lot of educated people that have never understood personal development. You can be a millionaire and not be developed. You can be anybody, a corporate president, and still not be fully developed. And if you don't develop yourself, down the road, it comes back. And as you get older, that inner critic, or that bully in our head, gets stronger and louder and louder. And then you find yourself in a battle, either believing him or believing the reality and the truth about you. Okay? So the inner critic, that thing that blasts in your head, tell you what you can't do, what you can't be, what you can't have. They think this, they think that. You walk in a place, they all looking at you. That's the inner critic. Nobody can work on that but you. When it says something, you have to correct it and tell it something totally different of a reality that you are believing. Okay? Hearing the adults in your life speak harshly about themselves can also cause the inner critic. Things that we say, words of spirit, words of life, or words can also cause death. That's why don't just talk to be talking. I don't do a lot of talking. I don't do a lot of talking because I'm in a vein now that I pick and choose what I talk about and what conversations I talk about. Even when people bring conversations to me, if it's not empowering, and then I'm considerate of maybe somebody just want to talk and just share. But even after a certain point, I'm listening, but I'm trying to see which direction that it is, which direction that it's going. Okay, you understand me? Which direction that is going? Because words can be harsh. The tone of words can be very harsh. The tone that the inner critic tells you in your head, that bully in your head, that's always telling you you're not going to make it, you're not going to survive, don't listen to him. And because he's talking is an example of evidently you're onto something, because that bully in your head is trying to talk you out of your dreams and talk you out of the things that you desire. Okay? Even understand, it's something I love studying about. Neutral pathway is a series of connection neurons that send signals from one part of the brain to another. Neurons come in three different types: motor neurons that control muscles, sensory neurons that's stimulated by senses, and interneurons that's connecting neurons together. Everything connect together. Thoughts just, it's fire. We call them firing firing a car or something, and that's how it goes. And I talked about today, I think I talked about today on my daily mental wake up, even understanding anxiety and stress. Let me go over something that I brought out on today, just a little bit that can help you. The brain, and I don't. This has been happening lately. Well, I can still add it in. I talk about it. I study one thing and end up going in different area, but it all comes back together. Why does the brain always find problems? Why does the brain always find problems? Even when there isn't a problem, your brain is going to give you a problem to start worrying about, and a momentum goes. And when that momentum starts, then you start operating in that thought pattern, neural thought pathways and patterns that you have been thinking, because that momentum grows. Okay, so you've got to notice when you're worrying, what you're thinking. What you're thinking is not a fact; it's just a thought. Then there's certain. If it's raining outside, that's reality. That's not just a fact, but it's a reality because it's raining. If the sun is shining, you see what I'm saying? But anything else mentally, you're not really sure. Stuff that you got going in your head, don't just assume it's true because you're thinking it. Can I say it again? Just don't assume because you're thinking something that it's a fact or it's truth. It doesn't. No, don't suggest those. Your mind you have to train your brain. You have to train your mind. Your mind is not against you. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's in a way of protecting you for survival. But you have to renew it to let it know I'm okay, because it goes way back from the cave days. It was always on alert. So it comes from the genetics. It goes right on down. And you find yourself just worrying over what? And over what? Your brain, it finds problems. And that's why I'm saying, let me say this here as a psychologist. Let me say this. If the brain finds problems, okay, then we have to understand this. This, that we understand that a lot of things that people have in their head and they say it's a problem, it is not a problem. I welcome all of those on all the other platforms, those that's on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go in and subscribe. I appreciate it. And also push the like button. We're trying to build the YouTube channel, and that way we're on Twitter. We're on 5 platforms where we're on. Okay. So if the brain always finds problems, I'm talking to you now. If the brain, scientifically, if the brain always finds problems, okay, what's in your head, is it really a problem, or is it a thought problem? Your thinking have created a problem in your head, and it's really not a problem. It's just you've created it. This is what coaching is all about. You've created it, and it's gone so long in your head that now you call it a problem. But it's a problem of something that you created that's not a reality and that's not a fact. How many times throughout the day we see that our thinking, our perception, our perspective wasn't correct, which is normal. That's about it being human. Nobody has perfect thoughts. Nobody's mind is just completely clear except a dead man. But you learn how to redirect those thoughts towards a more positive way, and not just that. How do you direct them? You direct them visually, image, and you direct them with your words, because the power of life and death, the power, you got to get, this is the base principle, the law of confession, that will cause you to see manifestations, okay? Because the God's not doing anything. It's already done. I was telling somebody today, and I used to say, what are you saying? It's done. Everything is done. When it came to according to your faith, be it what? Done is done. So, but they haven't let me slow down. The concept of prayer that the majority of the religious community have given you all is incorrect. This is why you're not seeing results, and you've got the same problem. Even Joe, his problem only lasted, I think, a year, something like that. It wasn't no lifetime. And some of y'all got lifetime stuff that you've been dealing that you say is a problem. And I've come to tell you tonight, it's time to correct it. You have the power. You have the choice. Now, if you're dealing with other people, you have no choice over them. You have no control over them. So if we understand the way the brain operates, again, it always creates a problem if there isn't a problem. Okay, the brain always finds a problem. That's why you're sitting and this and that's happening in your brain, this and that. And one thing you begin to think about, and the more you think about that thing, the more it develops, the more you get depressed. You created that problem. It did not present itself. It might have presented itself as a thought in your head. And you begin to believe that. Now, what is a belief? A belief is thinking a thought over and over and over. Dr. Sun, good to see you. Those on other platforms, I can't see you, so if I don't say anything, I'm so glad you're here. We welcome you to Dealing to Hughes Personal Development Institute and Coaching Show. Okay, so I want to stay on this point. Again, the brain always finds problems. That's how we are wired. That only finds problems, but the brain always tells a story. It takes the thought and it creates a whole story within your head about that. And this is why you have to master your emotions and you have to master your thoughts, because a lot of things that you think is a problem, that you think is a problem in your life, is not a problem. It's a problem because you created it and you've labeled it and you branded it and you framed it as a problem. Again, Job's situation didn't last years. It just lasts some months, 9 months, a year, something like that. It wasn't on 5, 10, 12 years. You understand what I'm saying? So if you've got something that you consider as a problem and it's been there 10 years, it's time to wake up and realize you got to change that. If it's your problem, you change it. Now, if you can't change it, it's not your problem, because the only thing that's sure in life is change. Things going to change. And things are not going to always work out the way you think they are. I taught on that. About time to teach on that again. So you just go with the flow. The how, what, when, where, who. That's not your job. How, what, when, where, who. That's not your job. You leave that to source. Okay? Whatever you feel comfortable with. You leave that to source. I am God. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Leave it to the Spirit to work for you. Let the Spirit, he's always working, but we're co-laborers. He's not going to do it for you. He doesn't do it for you. He does it with you. We're co-laborers. Corinthians says we're co-laborers together. People say, oh, God gonna do it for you. That's not scripture. Come on, look at me, y'all. He said, according to your faith, it's done. So if your faith connects with your desire, if your faith come on, somebody get this. If your faith connects with your desire, it's done. So you open your mind, stop being impatient, stop trying to do the whole thing. You can't do it yourself. He helps you. You visualize, you have the confession, you have the positive confession. You use the power of your imagination. Imagine as if it is now. Not that it's going to be, but it is right now. I have my desire now. I'm healed now. I'm delivered now. I've got the money now. You said, Dr. Hill, you said I got the money now, but if you see my account, you see that I need money to put in my account. I understand that, but you're not living in that reality. You're living into the reality of done. Woo, I like that. Dr. Sutton, I like that. You're living in, I'm going to have to do research on that. I like that. You're living in the reality of done. Wow. It's already done. But see, when you say it's done, first thing you try to do is figure out the who, what, when, where, why, and all of that. And when you can't figure that out, you go back to the drawing board and you back to step one again, because you're trying to figure out how it is done. Listen. We've got to live in the reality of done. It's already done. Your desires are already done. You say, well, D.L. Hughes, how do I get it? As you develop, as you draw nigh, it draws nigh to you. That's why personal development is very important. The reason why you're not seeing it, because you're not developed for it yet. Okay? So your brain has more neurons than there are stars in the galaxy. However, it has one particular flaw. It always finds problems when there are none. That's what the brain does. It's always giving you something to worry about. Come on, somebody. Y'all help me. The brain always gives you something to worry about, and you're worrying about something that's not even true. It's not even true. And you start worrying, and after 16 seconds of a thought, a momentum comes. So now when it comes, it brings a lot of other little boys with them. And before you know it, you way out there talking about, I got a problem, I got that. No. This is all the brain does. It's going to bring you problems. This is why in the Christian Bible, it talks about be not conformed, but transformed by the renewal. You've got to, you know why you're not where you are? Let me say this. You're where you are right now because of your belief system and because you haven't developed. You know how, you know the religious thing, you know the church thing, you know how to shout, you know the language, you know all of that. And that's another reason why you can't get nowhere, because you just hang around church people. Well, that's it. Come on, that didn't mean that. That scripture messed folks up. Ignorant people put that scripture out and gave you the understanding of it. Come on, somebody. You have to come out of who be you separated. When they said that they were talking about them folks in the world, the churches in the world. Well, come on, somebody. Y'all help me. Didn't mean that. Come out from those ways. Sister Grace, I was looking for you. There you are. It didn't mean that. Come out from your way of thinking. That's why, when you get on a journey of really walking with this thing and developing you and knowing your purpose, you really don't have time for nobody else's business. I'm serious. You really don't. So I'm still talking about the inner critic, that thing in our head, that bully that tell you can't, you won't, nobody likes you. Nobody. I'm going to give a whole list of things that and I want to expose the inner critic, because that's your devil. Okay. There's only one power, is the power of God. We create. The only devil is the devil you create, and you create it through your thinking. Come on, somebody. And I'm going to go to Matthew 4, I think, when Christ was tempted. That was the inner critic. There wasn't no man with no pitchfork, or no man standing there told I'm the devil, got a pitchfork and what do they call it, a red cape and got horns. No. He was trying to get in his thinking. He was trying to get in Jesus' thinking, but he knew who he was and he knew his purpose. If you be the Son of God, throw yourself down, cast yourself down. But he knew who he was. When you know, oh my God, when you know who you are and you know who you are, you're not moved by the inner critic talking to you in the back of your head. And the more anxiety you have, the more stress you have, the more that thing starts talking. He's a bully. The inner critic in your mind is a bully. But don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Okay? All right. Here's a story that Mitch Dale Montinico, something like that. He said, my life has been full of terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened. I think it was Mark Twain said something similar. Mark Twain said, I've had a lot of problems, and most of them never came, never happened. You know where it happened? It happened here. We've been hardwired. We've been trained. Other people worry. We join their worry. I don't do that. I don't join other folks' worry. If you want to stay in the worry zone, you stay there. But I'm not going there. And many times people get upset because you don't join their negative conversation, their negative perception, their negative perceptive. You don't join that, so they get upset with you at that. Why? That's where you want to be? That's not my reality. That's your reality. Come on, somebody. My reality is that I have life. My reality is joy and peace and success and health and being the head and not the tail, first and not last. That's my reality. And whatever your reality, if your reality is, oh, I'm going through so much, that's fine. But don't bring that to me. Because I understand, I said last week, you got to change the story. Your story can empower you. It can take all your abilities of being who you are away. The brain, I'm going to talk you out of what you think is a problem. Like, I want you to sit. I want y'all to sit down, get a piece of paper once I go off, and everything you think that's a problem, write it as something about sight. Your feelings, when you're feeling crazy, write those feelings down. When some keep looping, illuminating in your head, it keeps going, ruminating in your head. Write it down. Put it on a piece of paper. Look at it. Because that's all it is, a thought on a piece of paper. But everything comes with it, because if you think of that thought after 16 seconds, other thoughts similar comes with it. And before you know it, you've created a problem. Now you're talking about a problem, and now you're walking around depressed because you got a problem, and you got a problem in your head. You're depressed about something that's an illusion that's in your head. Your lungs, breath, and your heartbeat, boosting blood circulation, and brain analyzes possible future events to guarantee its own survival. So when you let those thoughts come, your whole vibration, your heart, your circulatory system, everything gets off, because it does that. It does that. The blood goes through your arms and your muscle. It does that for survival. So what we have to do, Dr. said, we have to renew that, transform that. Okay? The brain's not going to transform itself, and God's not going to do that either. He's given us the tools. He gives us the Word of God, self-care, self-help material to help you. What did you read today? Newspaper. Some negative. We're hardwired bias towards negativity. That's why you have to be very careful. Worry isn't I didn't know it. I'm still talking about the inner critic. I think I'm going to do part 2 on this. Worry is an attempt to control the future. Can I say it again? Worry is an attempt. If you worry, that means I can control. You can't. You can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't control what's going to happen Sunday. You can't control what's going to happen Monday or Tuesday. And those in New Haven area, I'll be at, I think it's New Hope Baptist Church, Dr. Cotton. I'll be there with him this Father's Day, this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Thank you, Sister Grace. You can't control it. So just roll with it. You see, we worry because we think we're positioning ourselves to be on the defense if something does happen. And things happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But most of the stuff that you worry about didn't happen, not happening, and not going to happen. So that problem you thought you had, it's not a problem. It's just something that your brain and that you're feeding into it. And you got I got a whole bunch of problems. You got stuff in your head. This is what the coaching is all about. This is what therapy. When people hear therapy, they are coaching. Oh, I ain't crazy. I have nothing to do with being crazy. That's a small mind to even think like that. Nothing wrong with coaching. There's life coach, business coach, career coach, all kind of coaching. They help you get, that's available now. When you can't do basketball players, they've got a coach. People that have done it and now directing the team. You understand what I'm saying? I can help you. That's why Linda Hughes Personal Development. We're connected with psychology, and I'm a certified therapist for psychology today. Get some help. Don't just stay in where you are and just settle for, well, I guess just the way it is. No. I've got a thing I think I'm going to do it next week, one of these weeks. Life is not just paying bills and dying. That's all you see, because that's how people are living, because people are not living their dream. Again, life is not this. Thank you, Mama. This is breaking news. The Lord's my great. Life is not just paying bills, eating, and then die. And your whole day is like that. You have to put in your life what you want to put. You say, well, I don't feel like it. Maybe you don't feel like it, but you got to put life in your life. Okay? And that's how you get into the reality of done. I need to write that down, because I've never heard that before. I haven't. But I want to, it's because it's already done. If I can get my paper right. Reality of done. It's already done. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right, let's move on. However, we tend to think that if we worry more, things would turn out better. This makes you think that if you relax or divert your attention away from tomorrow, something will happen. You need to realize that 97% of everything that you worry about will never happen. You say, well, I'm going to keep doing it because I got that 2%, that 3%, 2%, and 3%, whatever. Okay? No, it ain't going to come. I'm trying to help you. Get out your head. Put life in your life. I wish somebody would put that up there. Put life in your life, and then somebody put the reality of done. You don't have no life in your life. That's why you don't have life. You got to put life. You know, but you're looking for other people to give you life. Even your mate cannot give you life. Just have life yourself. And then someone said, I can just get the right man. I'll have. No, you got to have life now. Because if you wait on somebody else to give you life, when they go or they decide, because people are human, they have their own mind. When they decide to go, they go. And then where's your life? There goes your life going at the door. And you're right back in that depressed, pitiful rabbit hole because you was waiting on somebody else to give you life. I like what Christ said. Christ within us. It's not a church platform or religion, but it's a Christ within us. And Christ said, I've come that you may have life, not survive. Life, and that you may have it more abundantly. The brain always finds problems every day. Your brain will bring a problem. And that inner critic, he's smooth. He knows you. Okay? Because we've had him from our childhood. Yeah. Put life in your life. Thank you, Mama. Dolores. Thank you, Sister Grace. Reality gives you life. Thank you, Mama. You see what I'm saying? So, what are you saying, Dr. Hughes? Stuff that's in your head that be going on in your head. And I know, believe me, but I'm learning how not. Here's a key: being aware of your thoughts and your feelings, and not believing every thought or thinking your thought is a fact. How many wars? What's going on politically? What's going is because of the perception and the perspectives of people, of wrong information in their head. Racism, wrong information in their head. We're all connected. We're all one. There's no separation. We're all one. We're connected to the planet, and we're all one. When he made us like a garden, different colors, different sizes, different shapes. Man, when you get into the reality of done, something else going on here. That reality of done, it's already done. Whew. That's why it's important to meditate. Today I spent about an hour. Meditation. Put some real soft music on. And I went within. Oh, when you meditate, things pop up. But you got to quiet your mind. You have to take out time to quiet your mind. Okay? So what I did today, I didn't do the whole complete hour because your mind's going to shift here and there. But you get one thing you concentrate. It's a matter of practicing concentration and giving attention to. These are the tools that God gave us to get what we want. But we never were taught this, Sister Grace. We weren't taught these things. Other people have. Folks in the Eastern have. Others, and they've learned this, and we're just we've been church without principles and don't even understand the reality of done. The reality that it's already done. Well, if it's done, why it ain't happening right now? There's a moment. It's happening. It's all in the making. It's all working for your good. It doesn't happen overnight, but you keep working at it, and you work at it, and you practice it, and you get caught up in your own personal development that other folks' minds and life and stuff. You can't change that. I said a few weeks ago, you can't even change you. You can't change people. You can't change your truth. Only you can change is you. And you respect people for where they are. I talk to people and I know they're not in a positive zone, and I don't talk long because I work hard, and I'm working hard to get where I am and to stay there because I understand when you develop the stuff that you're trying to attract into your life because it's already done. Again, God's not doing anything. He's already done it. Ephesians 1:3 say he hath, H-A-T-H, he hath given us all things. Okay, he hath blessed us. Okay, Peter talked about it. I think it's Peter. Okay, he hath give a spiritual blessing. And he don't do it for you. He do it with you. It done works with you. Corinthians says we're co-laborers. We're co-laborers. We work together. We work with him. There's in the Old Testament, he had to do it for them because they were not empowered. New Testament, he said, I come that you may have life. I came to give you authority. You tread upon church. This is why people are suffering. And this is why you're so sweet, but you've lived underneath your privilege because they've been churching you and not kingdom principles. You got to find a place where you can get kingdom principles. You got to find a place that's teaching kingdom principles. You're in a dead church. You can't revive a dead church. Some churches are dead. They're backwards. They don't want to change, and they're not even churches. Let me say this. A lot of these places, not even churches, because the people don't even know the scripture. They don't even know the word. Most of them, I don't want to get into that. It's not a church platform, so I don't want to get into that. But, one of my clients said this week, they said, Dr. Hill, reason why we appreciate you because you don't religionize us. You're helping us deal with ourselves and to awaken the Christ within you. That's what salvation is all about. Come on up here, do that. Again, it's not a church platform, not a religious platform, but I want you to be aware of Christ in you. You are the Christ. Come on, somebody. This is what Paul, you say, what? You are the Christ. Look in the mirror. Paul said, it's not no longer I that liveth. He was in the awareness of this. It's your awareness that makes the difference. He said, it's no longer I that live, but the Christ. Hughes is gone. It's the Christ living now. So the Christ manifests, the Christ mind, it's a mindset. Oh, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this. I'm sorry to inform you that most of these words are usually not likely to happen. You can make a list if you don't believe me of the things you worry about. So why do it? You know why? It eats on your body, eats on your circulatory system. It eats on your head, your mind, your blood pressure. Hear me? Okay, there I am. Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to this. Let me go back to this inner critic. So I'm kind of combining it. The inner critic, the religious community called it the devil. I don't get into that too much because he said give no place to the devil. Even when I'm preaching, as they say in churches, I don't mention the devil on my broadcast, on my show. I don't mention him for what? I'm telling you about it now. It's the inner critic. Because whatever happens in the world is being influenced, because it's got to be through somebody, and it's being influenced by the inner critic. Okay? That's who's influencing. And it's a bully. The inner critic is a bully. Let me go over some of the things. The negative voice is louder and more persistent. If your inner voice is constantly nagging and criticizing, you're not alone. You say, well, I thought you hear a voice and you cry. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about hallucinating voices. I'm talking about the human inner critic. Okay? Let me see here. Okay. You have to give it a name. Give it a name because sometimes you have to change it. 98% of us are letting our minds be controlled by fear. Our decisions are fear-based. Our actions are fear-based. We do things out of fear. Now that's a whole nother coaching show there. We do things out of fear. We make decisions. We don't live our dream. The fear of what people may say. The fear, you'll never get anywhere putting yourself in the prison of your mind and the fears of your mind. God doesn't break in like that. And I know the religion, he going to do it. No, it doesn't work. He's going to do it with you. This is why people not seeing results. This is why, Sister Grace, people gone from the church because they ain't seeing nothing. People go to clubs. They go to those places, okay, because they get the feeling of the results they want. He may walk out staggering and fall out and all that, but he got the results he wanted. A dope addict, when I was an addict, it didn't last long. The high didn't last long, but I got the 7-8 minute result that I wanted. And I was back at it again. And this is where people are. People not seeing results. So they're searching. And the search is within you. Can I say it again? The search was within you. You're looking for God. Look in the mirror. He's living through you. Come on, somebody. And that's why the inner critic don't want you to accomplish what you're take him forward. Like so many other people of his time, he could have let the prevailing negative thoughts cloud his mind. But instead, Ford kept fear at bay and didn't let negative thinking get in the way of him developing the biggest automobile companies in America. If these great inventors, Edison and Henry Ford and Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they had fears that came before them. They had fears. They had doubts. That people told them, don't do that. It ain't going to work. So you make a decision every time you have a dominating thought. There's 6 and 80 thoughts that go through our head every day. We don't catch them all because we're locked somewhere else. But when there is a dominating thought that begins to trigger in your head, the first question you ask yourself or you tell yourself, I don't believe that thought because that's not empowering. Okay? You make a choice whether you're going to believe a thought or not. What is belief? Belief is thinking a thought over and over and over until you start believing it. And then you have a belief system. Your belief system gets all that. Now, what I teach is not popular. I understand that. Because when you teach in these areas, you're dealing with folk, and I appreciate you all that sticks with me every week and support, financial support, is because you want more and you burn out. I know what it is. Somebody told me, a couple told me, they said, Dr. Hughes, we just burn out with church. And I said, I understand, me too. My niece told me yesterday, I just can't. I said, me too. I'm kingdom. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. Okay? All right? Don't let your mind drift. This is what I'm saying. When you're meditating, find something to think on. Find something to practice attention, because your attention span is so short. You drift too quick. So you have to train your mind. I train my mind. When I'm meditating, I find a sound, whether it's air conditioning or whether it's whatever, the fan, or I've got a little ecosystem. I think that's what it's called. And I put that on and I just make my mind stay on something that's in the present. You've got to be present. You got to be grounded, and you have to be in the now. You have to be present. Don't go. I said something today. I can't remember what it was, but you can't go back in the future. Stop trying. Nobody can. Where is the matter of fact? The future's on an illusion. If it's not, go get it. Touch it. Relive the same situation, the same day, the same people, same time, same date. Can't do it. It's an illusion. The only reality is now, the present. Nothing else is really guaranteed. We plan. You still plan. You still have to plan. Now, I need you to go over to my YouTube, Dylan and Hughes Personal Development. Subscribe. Hit the like button. We're trying to take this company in a direction that will hack minds and help folks develop the Christ, or till Christ be formed in them. Okay? Stay with me. Got a few more minutes. I think I do. Where are some notes? I'm missing some. Okay. Got a lot of blank paper. Okay. Andrew Carnegie, who served as a mentor to many authors. Many other successful leaders have done. He surrounded himself with successful people. Here it is. You ready? You cannot be successful hanging around a lot of religious people, a lot of church people. I'm gonna come at you, right at you. I'm going to shoot the arrow at you. You got all those church friends. It feels good because it makes you feel, religious, but it's not empowering you because you're not talking. You're not on the phone, or you're not information of ideas. And those things say, I can't remember this. Some people talk about this, some people talk that, and I talk about ideas. Let's talk about some ideas. You talk about your problem too much. That's why the problem is there. You keep talking about it, and then you talk to the wrong people. What can they do? The person other than the phone, they're in a mess too. So you're talking because you want to vent. Find a therapist. If you need to talk it out that much, then you need to find a therapist that can direct you and help you change. I like this. And help you change your story. Can I say it again? And it will help you. It will help you change your story. Come on, somebody. Are you listening to me? Okay. Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie, Standard Oil. What's his name? Can't think of his name. Standard Oil guy. Not Rockefeller. Rothschilds. Anyway, they had many opportunities. So listen, y'all. They had many opportunities to not invent or not follow their dream. Did you not know that I put it on my Facebook that Tyler Perry, the deal went through, he bought BET? Look where he comes from. Folks didn't believe in him. They weren't even giving him money for his plays and his movies. When you first start out, you're not going to get the support you're looking for, so get out of there and do you. You're not going to get pats on the back. You're not going to get folks to just go out and start buying your product. They may. But as the wheel keep turning, you can fly, you can just blow up and crash land. This is what I do with my show. It's starting. I'm building a great momentum. Okay? So listen to me, all of these great inventions, Elon Musk, I like him. Let's go Oprah Winfrey. They had a choice not to believe in themselves and not to follow their dream. Now, life is not a straight line. It's not a straight line. It has its crooks, has its turns, has its mountain, has its valley. You got to wake up and realize that life is not a straight line. Okay? 98% of the people on the planet, 98 out of 100 people are not living. Not really living, but more like drifting through life. Are you a drifter or are you living? Are you intentional manifester and getting the things you want? Or you just get it by default? Every now and then you get a little blessing by default. You don't have to live like that. Excuse me. You can create the life you want. Set goals. Have a plan. Don't try to incorporate the people you want. You start what you're doing and they'll come. They'll come. As you develop your dream, your corporation, your business, your entrepreneurship, has been an entrepreneur. When you dream that, when you think of that, act like it's done now. Act like you're that person now. Act like you're the person you want to be. I know that's hard for people to do, but I don't know, because you're in so much of a negative vibration yourself. I walk around and act like the person that I'm becoming. And I constantly believe that it's already done. All of my desires, it's already done. And I know my finite mind can't wrap myself around that, but that's what transformation takes. And you meet resistance because that old you. Come on, somebody. Oh, I hope. Okay, let's go over a few things. I want to talk politics too. It'll probably be on a few minutes long to give you understanding of what's happening. Okay? All right. The more successful you are, the more the inner critic tries to control your mind. Fear of poverty. The more money you have, you develop a fear of losing it. You see? So I would rather be successful and have fears than have nothing and have fears, okay? The fear of criticism. Fear of criticism. People are going to say anything they want to say. When you get to the point that it doesn't, I'm at a point now, it doesn't matter. You can like me or not. I know even my information, I know it's golden. Because I asked the Lord for wisdom. See, that's what you got to get. You don't need another prayer. You need some wisdom. You need some wisdom. How was Solomon became he was a center millionaire, CNTI millionaire, center millionaire, 100 million and over, solid. How did it come? Because he asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for money first. He didn't ask for possessions. God gives wisdom first. So when you get it, you can keep it, and you know how to help other folks, and you know how to cut the help off. You have to cut the help. Let's look at this. The fear of ill health, the fear of loss, love, the fear of old age. Some people live with the fear of old age. You're only as old as you think. You say, Dr. Hughes, that ain't true. I feel it. Come on. I know you have a little this and that, but you got to override it. You can't give in to it. See, that's why you don't need to hang around a lot of other people that got a lot of issues like you. Find some people that's upbeat. Okay? Find some people. My mother's 81, does good. Right? Find some people that's upbeat. It's your environment. You can't, nothing happens until you change. You're only trying to do stuff without the principles. And you've tried it these years and you haven't worked. Here I come, giving you the principle that works. If you do the things I tell you, you're going to see results. If you do exactly what I say, you'll see tremendous results. This ain't church stuff. This Christ's principles that work. What did Jesus say? The inner critic was talking. 40 days, 40 nights talk. You are the Son of God, command the stones become the bread. That was the inner critic. Wasn't no man with no red suit on. The same thing he went through, you go through. If. And that's always what the inner critic, that bully does. If this, if that. If you so this, why not that? If you so great, why you ain't married? Stop going through all that. And then now you're trying to figure out everything. Yeah, that is true. And now there you go. After 16 seconds, a thought takes a momentum and it keeps going. That's why you have to check yourself quickly. When you find yourself drifting in that rabbit hole, you're on the phone, you're talking negative, stop it. I do it. I don't care who I'm on the phone with. I'll stop it. Excuse me. I say, excuse me 1 second. And I correct what I said. Why? Because I'm trying to get aligned. And I'm trying to stay aligned. And alignment comes with your confession. Power, life, and death is in the tongue. That's it. You can pray all you want to pray, run around trying to get a prophet. I don't knock that. Whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, it's what you say. It's not what he say. It's not what she say. It's not what the preacher say. They say it. You receive it. Then you say it. If it's not positive, don't say it. Don't just do a cliche. Most of the cliches people was doing, even during the pandemic, was not empowering. It was religious, but it ain't empowering. Oh, he gonna do. He gonna do it. No. Come into the reality of done. Then the critic said, and then he said, if man should not live by bread alone, then the critic said, verse 5, then the devil took him up to the holy city, set him on a pinnacle of the temple. Inner critic talking to him. You're the Son of God, throw yourself down. He knew who he was, and he knew his mission. Okay? The inner critic will fight you and defeat you if you don't know your purpose, you don't know your passion. Again, you were not put here to pay bills and die. I think I'm going to do that next week unless I do part 2 on this. I'm not sure. But you're not here. You weren't here to pay bills. That's not your purpose. No, you got to pay your bills, but that's not living. And you've got jobs that you're just making ends meet. And then you say, oh, well, it's just a job. Don't say that because it will stay just a job. Talk where you want. Hey, my nephew, the Bishop Charles H. Brewer, Trinity Temple, Church of God in Christ, New Haven. Love you, man. Love you, nephew. I love you. Love you so much. Trinity Temple on Dixwell in New Haven. I'll be in New Haven Sunday, nephew. I'll be with Dr. Cotton. I think it's New Hope. New Hope. We got to get together. Okay? So let's go back before I close. The brain automatically searches for problems. If there's not a problem, the brain going to search for it. See, this is what I mean outwitting the devil, that inner critic within you. Because if you're dealing with social stuff, they're being used too. Okay? So what you do, you change. You hear it, but you don't believe every thought. Our mind lies to us. It doesn't mean to. Because historically, it was meant that's for survival, but we have to transform it. So we have that flight, freeze, fight. Flight, freeze, fight. 3 things happen when trouble comes or whatever you think is a problem in your mind. You want to take off, you want to fight, or you just want to freeze. That's what the brain does. When I begin to understand this stuff, I begin to understand Christ in me. Okay? You have to talk back to the critic. Change the story. Whatever the story has been, is it a real story? The story you're telling yourself, is it a real story? See, let me say this. This is what happened. I'm going to talk about politics a little bit in a minute. And the critic will tell you, I'm not good enough. He's smarter than you. Are you sure you are doing the right thing? All of us have a critic within us, but you don't have to listen. Listen, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Henry Ford, that inner critic was there for them, but they did not listen to him. Negativity changed them. What is belief? Belief is thinking a thought over and over and over till it gets to the point that you believe it. And if you believe it, that's it. I talked about coming into the also, as a summary, coming into the reality of done. It's done. He's not doing anything. He did it for them in the Old Testament because they were not empowered. But in the New Testament, he gave us the power. He gave us authority. He said, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to be a co-laborer with you. You use the power of your imagination. You learn how to think. You develop you. You watch what you say, and you manifest and create the life that you want. But he's not going to do it for you. He'll do it with you because we're co-laborers. And I talked about the reality. I'm gonna have to do a teaching on that. The reality of done. It's done. So if it's done, why don't we talk like it's done? Why we talk like it's on the way or it's coming? If it's done, it's here. He's already given us everything that pertaineth to life and godliness. You got it. So the problem that you think you have, you've created. Now there could be some things that's going on. It could be something, but most of the stuff you're worried about and fearful about, conditions in your body, this and that, you created that thing, so you've got to uncreate it. God's not going to do that for you. He doesn't renew our mind. That's our job, to put the right information in our mind. He's not going to come and do that. He's given us tools. This is why I started my personal development company, and it's doing well. On each day, we're sending out close to 12,000 wake-ups all over the place. I don't know. Then we're on WordPress. We're on Medium. I'm a Psychology Today therapist. You can find me on Psychology Today. You got to develop yourself outside of certain areas. I always just teach you, there's more to you what you're doing. We wasn't designed to get stuck on one thing. We wasn't designed to just do one thing. Abraham had multiple streams of income. He had 3 streams of income that we know about: silver, gold, and cattle. Okay? Genesis 2, verse 8, when he put him in the garden, streams of income. 1 river, 4 streams. 1 of gold, 1 of onyx. Can't remember the 2. So, and he said, Adam, you create the life you want. Whatever you want, you name it. That's what you want. I'll honor that. So when you name stuff that's negative, it's negative. Because that's the power that he's given us, the power of naming it. The power of our thoughts. Okay? Change the story. If you change the story, things change. Things are not going to just change like that. It doesn't work like that. You develop yourself. Become a better version of you. And love you some of you. Okay? Let's talk politics. I want to talk about what's going on. Because I'm all into it. And we're supposed to be all into it because we're here. Okay? I'm not going to talk about everything, just going to cover a few things. Number one, our former president. I just got to say, only thing he had to do was give them what they wanted. And then he could have went back and fought for it if he felt it was his. But of course, we know Mr. Trump. He's a narcissist. That's the main thing that you're dealing with him. Somebody asked me as a seer, okay, I don't do, as a seer, what do I feel? I don't know yet. I know what I'm feeling, but I'm not going to say publicly yet. But I don't think if he gets back in, he won't last. Okay. Health-wise, he won't last. Mentally, I've already said this several times. He'll be like Nebuchadnezzar when it's over with. Okay. And it's a shame that our country is where it is. If a man can do what he's done, I know, let me say this, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But you put our country at risk because he doesn't care. He really have a dictatorship mentality. If he could do away with the Constitution, if he could do away with his president running 8 years, he would do it. But I want you to watch. I want you to watch. This is his downward spiral because of pride, and pride comes before a fall. This is Donald Trump's downward spiral, and it will happen quickly. It will not be 5, 6, 7 years. It will be swiftly. And I'm talking to you now as a seer. Some folks say prophet in the religious community. My program is not a religious program. It's a Christ awareness, but it's not a church program. So I use the word seer because that relates to people, and they feel, somebody said, I feel more comfortable with that. There's a lot of crazy prophet stuff out there. Somebody, let me say something. A friend of mine called me today, and they know I understand the prophetic, and I believe in it, and I do it. Prophesied to some lady and told her, you like Doritos. Lady said, I don't like Doritos. You like the snack. I don't like the snack. People, let me tell you something. It takes much training in schooling and being around seasoned prophetic folks. I had people like W.B. Grant, Robert Tilton, okay, and others that have helped me understand the prophetic. So let's go back to Trump. Correct, Trump. My thoughts were on Judge Cannon. I think she has taken a turn. I was totally against her the first. Okay, we're back. Okay, I think we're back. All right. I was saying when I first, the first ruling with former President Trump was a terrible ruling, and I thought then this woman is inexperienced. I didn't do any more research on her, but she's only been, she's only done like what they say, many cases. Only 3 or 4 went to trial, and there were like immigration cases. And I was saying, if I was saying, hold on, y'all. I was saying, I think she's gonna do good. Now that she's been pushed in a corner, now that she have the indictments, I've looked at it too. And doesn't look. Let me say this: doesn't look favorable for the former president, facing 400 some years. The case he won't shut up, y'all. He just won't shut up, and nobody have ever held him accountable. I think that's what it's more about. That he've never had any accountability. Is my sound back? Can y'all tell me something, please? Let me see. I can go to my phone. Okay, the sound is back. Okay. So you're wondering, what do we do? Well, nothing we can do but just speak and continually just speak over our country. Can you say? But I think Judge Cannon is going to. I think she learned a lesson. Her ruling she did today. I mean yesterday she did points in the right direction. So I think she should be given a chance. She's a new judge, what 30 some years old, 30 some 40 years old. But Special Prosecutor Jack Smith's a smart guy. He's already got it set up that if she does a bad ruling, because there were some things that were done in Westminster, New Jersey, the case could immediately be moved to New Jersey. When it comes to the former president, as who said that? Barr, his former, I think he said that, former AG said he's toast. That's it. And the Republican Party, and I want to get into the party part, the Democrat, because this whole thing should be about partisan thing, what's best for our country. But these guys are looking out for themselves. McCarthy, Marjorie Greene, Gates, that whole little crew, Lindsey Graham, they call it the MAGA, right-wing MAGA crew, looking out for themselves because if Trump's in, they're in. And looking for the country. What's the girl in Arizona? Lake, Captain, whatever name, can't think of a name. All of that. And even Marjorie Greene, she thinks she's going to be vice president. And when he landed in Georgia, she was standing on the tamarack and he walked right past her. That should tell you something. The man don't care. The man and his special valet, he going to throw him under the bus. He won't even pay for the boy to get an attorney. Why? Because he's afraid to get an attorney. He flipped. He's got to pay for it. This man is a mess. It's over, and they're still fighting for him. He put our country at risk. Those of you that have loved ones that's in the military, distance or whatever, they're in jeopardy. So this, as Barr said, he's toast. It's over. And that mega right crew, the McCarthy crew that's still trying to push it, Lindsey, still trying to push it. Y'all, I know my little platform is that it ain't, y'all may not hear it, but y'all need to get off the train. The train have derailed. It's not going to derail. The train have already derailed. And it's time to get off the train. Okay? And move out. Why take our country through this? They don't care about our country. They care about themselves. They don't even care about their party. What we're really experiencing right now is a racism in America, and he pacifies racism. This is why it's like wildfire, because what was in folks, okay, that mindset of racism, of color, we're all together. We all got red blood and a red heart, okay? That's within all of us. There's no different. But because of that, folks' thoughts and their thinking are wrong. Now, there's a lot of people in the Republican Party that's running. Personally, with me, I like Pence. And I hate to say it, but I'm looking at Christie because he was our governor, did a terrible job as governor. But he's stepping out against Trump for whatever reason. You don't know the reason until they get in. You don't know the reason until they get in. They all talk that talk. And once they get in, they go, as the young folks say, they go, they have the tendency of going sideways. They can go sideways, okay? So I just wanted to cover some things. I don't know anything else you want to know. I'm not an expert in this, but I'm all in it. All day I'm looking, and so I'm pretty well on top of what's going on with an open mind. So many things are happening. Fox News changes. CNN changes. Things change. Things change. Life changes. People change. Come on. People change. Life change. Politics change. Well, you can get involved in politics. That's why we're in the situation we're in, and they're doing anything they want to do because people like don't get involved with politics. But we've got millennials that's out there voting. Yeah, millennials are voting. They're protesting. Nothing wrong with protesting. Even Trump protesters are fine. And he didn't, I don't think he got, they're not even talking about the crowd in Miami. I checked the day of. I don't think nobody knew. I haven't checked lately, but they was expecting from 5,000 to 50,000 people. I don't even think they had 5,000. They might have. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they didn't have 10,000. They might have, but let's say that they didn't have 50,000. It was nothing like January 6th because people have learned they will throw you in jail. And even with that, Marjorie Greene went to Rikers Island to see the January 6th defendant. And my question was, did she leave some money on your books? Did she write a check for your attorney if they're so concerned that you were mistreated or illegally in prison? Then the right MAGA and Marjorie Greene, when they went to Rikers Island, then they should have put something on the books. But they don't care about that. It's all politics. They don't care about that. All those January 6th folks, Trump said he's going to pardon them. Well, before you pardon them, give their family some money. Give each family $20,000 to help them out. If you're so concerned about them, they're not concerned about them. Marjorie Greene, she wasn't concerned about them. She runs them out too much anyway. She wasn't concerned about them. They're concerned about their future. Their future. If he's in, then we're in. If he's out, they're out. So we got to fight by any means possible, illegally. Forget the American people. Forget the country. It doesn't matter. Let's get what we want and keep Trump. And you're crazy. Trump is crazy, been crazy. He started off good. And I believe that there was a purpose for him in the beginning because a lot of the policies that you all probably don't know about that he did that helped, even religiously. As soon as he got in office in May of 20, when he got in. Anyway, when he got in 2017, 18, he did some executive orders that nonprofits can still be able to say what they say and not lose their 501c3. Now, he did a lot of good things, but it's like 100 good things and a million bad things that the man had done. You see, I just want to share to help you understand, because they give you their point of view. I want to give you something from the kingdom point of view, that we're in this world, not of this world, but you got to see what's going on and face it for you. It's clear. I've seen the indictment. I watched it, went it over online. I didn't go over word for word, but I pretty well speed read the main points in order to do that. And that's what I did. And I'm like, this is it. I didn't even, once I got through, I said, it shouldn't even be a case. I know it has to be a trial, but it's a no-win situation. He can't win. Even with Eugene Kyle, that court case is coming back up now. He's going back to court for that because the judge allowed the amendment of the lawsuit. Because when the ruling came down, the jury said $5 million. He went right out the next day on CNN and deframed her again. And that attorney, Roberta, I can't think of her name, went right before the judge. And so that case is coming back up again. He won't shut up because nobody has never held Donald Trump accountable. But one thing about God, something my wife always says, he will always balance the scales. Now, I don't know. When it comes to Biden, I don't know. Age-wise, I don't know. The strength-wise. Doesn't say you get old, he couldn't do it, but does he really want to do all of this at his age? It should be a point of just, okay, I did it, enjoy life, but they all want 2 terms. They want to do their full term, and which I understand that. But I think in the Republican side, Pence would be a better person. DeSantis, no, absolutely. He is little Donald Trump. He does everything. He signs. I saw some things he signed today. I said, this man is crazy. Now, only thing I kind of understand is when it comes to the ruling he did, when it comes to the children in the schools, what material should be taught. I totally agree with that. That's a parent's responsibility. Okay? A child doesn't know. They don't have and I'm going to cover something else. Let me say this before I forget. I'm going to come back to that. What is happening even among them hiring of policemen? Used to be a time you had to be 25 years and older. Now you can be 21 to become a policeman. Your brain doesn't develop until your brain doesn't, the front part of your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So you got a 21-year-old that's a kid. In Memphis, that's what we're dealing with in Memphis. When most of those 4 or 5 African American officers, they were kids. early 20s, I think 30s. They're kids. Life, and I know they need policemen so bad, but I'm saying the training has to be more in depth, and they shouldn't turn them loose so quick. You shouldn't turn them loose. 25 was good. Brain developed. 21, your brain's not even developed yet. Okay? Trump's wife, I don't know where she is. You can't get along with that man. Nobody can get along with him. That's why the attorneys quit. You haven't seen Melania nowhere. I'm sure they said she went to, when he flew to Bedminster, she in New York, and she loved being in New York. She loved Trump Towers, and she tired of dealing with him. Wouldn't you be? You know, Trump is a mess, and he's a mess for this country. All other presidents left and just drifted out. Bush's, the same thing. Carter, same thing. They just drifted away. They drifted away. Are you listening to me? And this man has been in the news before he left and still there. It's time to stop. We're tired of him now. Trump, we're tired of you now. You're going to prison. Will he go to prison? It can be done. It can be done because in Florence, Colorado, there's a very high, I did federal time, so I know. There's a high profile, the Florence, Colorado prison federal facility is for high-end inmates. So he wouldn't even really need that much Secret Service because those that's in Florence, they don't really come out but an hour and get a bath, and they're in all the time. So you would just need a couple of Secret Service agents there, and that's it. I don't know where they would do it. They got to do something because if he can get away with it, anybody can get away with it. The guy that they just sentenced, the guy that indicted the guy that did the put the classified information up on just a couple of papers. He put it up online. He's been indicted. So if you don't deal with Trump, you see, the Republican Party don't understand this. If you don't deal with Trump, then what are you going to do? That means it's a free pass for everybody. So something has been that DA in Georgia. She don't play. Braggs is good too, but Fannie Willis, she means business. She means business. So he has all this going on, and we have to deal with all of this because of him. Go sit down, do your time. You're gonna have to do your time. He's facing 40 years. He won't do that. He's 77 years old. He ain't got long. They can give him 10 years. Give him a 10-year sentence, and he gone. He won't even make a 10-year sentence. All right. So we're gonna see Tim Scott. Nah. No, he can't even answer direct questions, okay? So we're in the midst of this. Y'all be watchful. I just want to share. You keep your opinion, but I just want to give you another perspective of where this thing is going. It's a fast-moving train. Now, we want to see whether she do a speedy trial. Miami has, I forgot what they called it, but you can speed the trial up. That's the determination. If they don't speed it up, then it would have to, once she become the Republican candidate, everything legally stops automatically, and nothing he can do to after either he loses or after he gets back in the White House. Okay, so this is why, and I believe out of these 4 indictments, a couple of them should get him. Some won't. I don't think all of them will get him before he become the primary candidate for Republican. He will do that. DeSantis is just spinning his wheel. Trump still has 40%. He's still up there. They still like him. He raised, since the legal thing Thursday, when he got indicted, he raised $7 million. The man is a money magnet. My wife always says he's a businessman. So he thinks business. He's going to raise money off. He can raise money. In an indictment, they can say you can indict a bologna sandwich, but he's got too much proof on him. A lot of proof. He's as Barr said, he's toasted. Okay. And the MAGA Republicans need to open their minds, and they need to realize that Donald Trump is toasted. Only thing he had to do was give him this stuff back. If he felt it was his, the National Archives Department, if he felt it was his, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to go to a judge, and I'm going to get it back. That's fine. But he wasn't going to get it back because he still feels he's the president. That's the only thing makes him feel. His whole office it's set up like the Oval Office to a certain extent. You can't do exactly, but it's set up to a certain extent. People in Mar-a-Lago, good morning, Mr. President. How you doing, Mr. President? So he's still living in yesterday. So the classified documents made him feel, because each president get a national security, national briefing, I forget, security briefing, that's what they call it, every day. So having those classified, it makes him feel that he's still the president because he's got classified information. And he's the type, he probably would have sold it to the Russians or the Iran, Afghanistan somewhere. The man's a mess. He needs personal development. He needs to let me coach him. He needs therapy. I can coach him. I can help him. Because he's messed up. He's a narcissist. Okay? But you can't help him. That's why his attorneys quit. That's why his attorneys quit. Because he doesn't listen. If you don't listen to nobody, you're on a fast-moving runaway train. The scripture says, well, there's a multitude of counsel in Satan. Okay? Sometimes I do a scripture. It's not a Christian, not a church platform. But I still believe in the Christ awareness, and I still believe in the word of God as the foundation of our lives. Okay? All right. So the inner critic, the bully in your head, that's your devil. That bully in your head that's talking to you, you got to change it. Okay? You got to change all that, and you got to change the channel. Usually I'm not on this long, but I want to kind of give you understanding because all of this politics is all on YouTube. It's everywhere. So let's kind of look at Judge Cannon. I think she's going to be okay. She's young. This is the most impressionable case that will highlight her whole career. She has the most, and sometimes it's good. I think my wife said that it's good that she's a rookie. Sometimes that's good because she's going to fight harder. Now, I don't know which side she's going to fight. I hope she fight for justice in the law because it's clear as day. I think she understands that the indictment is clear. So we're going to keep an eye on her. She made a ruling today. And, if she don't, Judge Cannon, get some mentors. Get some of the old judges that have been judging all their life for years and listen to them. And she may not hear me because, I'm not yet. It hasn't a national program, not yet. And notice I said yet. But get with a mentor. Do the right thing, Judge Cannon. Do the right thing. We are, let's say this, y'all, we're depending on Judge Cannon to do the right thing according to the law, because justice matters. So we're important to her to do the right thing. Now, she can hold it up. She can drag it. She can drag it till after. She can drag it as long as she wants to drag it. She can drag it until he's elected to be the primary forerunner of the Republican Party. And all legal stuff, from my understanding, it has to stop. So that's why he's stalling. You'll see everything he does is going to be a stall. Okay, she gave him a deadline. You have an attorney, let him get a clearance, Secret Service clearance from the government, and it has to be done by today, which was today, and it has to be given to the Justice Department by the 20th, I think. Okay, so she's coming out good. Hopefully she can keep what she's doing. She's young. Let's give her a chance. Let's see. And Jack Smith already got it said. If she doesn't do good, he's going to move it to Jersey. He's a great prosecutor. That man is amazing. Doesn't say anything. He came out and he did the interview and he said what he said, and that's it. That's it. Okay? I just want to share some things to help you understand what's going on. There's an inner critic going on in Trump here. He's got a whole story in him. I'm going to tell you something that's about him mental as a narcissist. He got a whole story in his head that life is all about him. It's all about him. He's not developed. Donald Trump needs personal development, y'all. Somebody tell him about me. Tell him to go to psychiatrist there and get me to be one of his therapists. He needs to be one of my clients because he needs personal development. The man's sick. He's sick. Okay? Woo! This has been wonderful. This has been really good. I've got to go. Thank you all so much. Sister Grace, everybody that was with me. D. Leonard Hughes here. D. Leonard Hughes Personal Development Institute. Thank you guys for listening. See you next time. Have a great day.